We're going back in time, counting down the top 80 songs from the greatest pop music decade in the history of human civilization, the 1980s. You're listening to the 80 of the 80s podcast with your hosts, DJ CK1 and AK47.
It's been a while, hasn't it, since we've done our last podcast. I think some of it is because we were mourning the death of Visage frontman. You act like you don't know who I'm talking about. The death of someone very important.
I'm just confused because we haven't been posting our podcast, so how do they know it's been a while?
Well, I know it's been a while, and you know, and that's what matters. I mean, this is coming straight from the heart. We're not faking anything here. This is real.
Severe depression over here, because who died?
It's not severe depression, but still, I think it's worth noting the death of Visage frontman Steve Strange, one of the new romantic pioneers. Visage.
I've always said Visage.
Actually,
am I saying it wrong?
I'm a little confused because they have one song that they pronounce it Visage.
I've always just said Visage. I don't know.
So it's like a French pronunciation, and you're drinking
water.
Yeah, but still, it's going to mess with the. Oh no, but we're real here. We're legit. This is rudimentary. We're not.
Yes,
we're
I'm
not
a real person. I'm not a robot, and I was thirsty.
We're not a highly produced show, but we do have some high technology. Speaking of robots, let's go to Gobotron 2000 and find out what the secret word is. Okay.
Oh man.
So AK47. Okay. Just read it. Just read the word.
Cookie. The secret word is cookie.
For some reason, if anyone would ever say cookie for this next 15, 20 hour, whatever. Actually, it's for the day.
Hey, I talk about cookies all the time.
Right. Scream real loud. Okay, starting right now. Let's test it out. Hey, AK47.
Yes.
Who would be your favorite character on Sesame Street?
The Count.
Okay. No. He has to be blue and extremely blue and furry.
Grover.
Fuzzy and blue. No, not Grover. He can't be Grover and he can't be Telly.
Telly is not blue.
Why you be difficult?
Harry.
Oh, you're right. Harry. Yeah, Telly's red. Okay. You asked me a question that prompts me to say.
What are you hungry for?
Loving. I'm hungry for love.
That's unusual.
Yeah. Okay.
Cookie Monster, damn it!
Okay. Yes. Now let's go. Okay. Let's move on. All right. We got a good thing going, babe. Today, number 78, as chosen by the board and compiled by the Gobotron 2000. 78 is Subdivisions by the Canadian rockers Rush.
Yes.
Okay, so we went back into our sensory deprivation chambers, and actually, I found a new, unique way. I have headphones that are really high quality, but they have a bit of a short in them. When I adjust the volume on my headphones, sometimes I hear the right side more than the left side, and then if I adjust the volume a little more, it goes and gets all fuzzy, and then sometimes I hear the left side more than the right side. People think this isn't good, but this is great because I can focus on the right side of the song, and I can focus on the left side of the song. So instead of getting the stereo effect of hearing both the right and left at the same time, I can hear them separately, and that way I can kind of dissect and analyze it. And this song, orally, I'm saying oral, like A-U-R, is that how you spell oral?
I get what you mean.
Yes.
Okay.
It has a lot going on. It's musically, of course, Rush, they're great musicians. You have Geddy Lee, he's playing bass and synthesizer and singing all at the same time.
He's amazing.
Yeah, and how does he do it? And he plays it pretty well. He's got the power chords going on the keyboards, which Rush fans, from my understanding, I'm not a hardcore Rush fans, but I think a lot of them don't like the keyboard era. But I think it's just another instrument that adds atmosphere, and just because you're plugging it into the wall, I mean, heck, you're plugging the freaking electric guitar into the wall. I mean, so what's wrong with a little technology to make you feel the power and the intensity of growing up in the darn suburbs. It's so hard. I mean, I grew up, well, I've been around different houses, but I've grown up for the most part in suburbs, and it's so oppressive. Like, everybody wants you to be just like them. I think Geddy Lee is saying, it's okay. It's okay to say no to being in the backseat of cars and to not go to shopping malls. It's okay. You don't have to go to shopping malls.
Wow, you're really passionate about this.
I am, yes. And I think that's one reason why...
Down with the Subdivisions.
Why this is, of all the Rush songs, this is probably my favorite.
The lyrics are brilliant. I mean, every Rush song, the lyrics are just amazing. But I mean, it's like reading just like really intelligent authors and things. A lot of musicians just have kind of hokey lyrics, you know. It's not just lyrically. I mean, it's just a great rockin' song.
It rocks, but it has a wall up. Boom! It hits you too. Mm-hmm. It's like dramatic and triumphant. Oh, being middle class. Oh. Neil Peart, I have a little mixed feelings about him as a lyricist, I have to admit. Yes, it makes you think sometimes. He's philosophical, he's political.
Yeah, they're just brilliant. It just if you were to just read it and not know that it's a song, you wouldn't know that it's a song by reading it.
Drawn like moths, we drift into the city. Timeless old attraction, cruising for the action, lit up like a firefly. There's two insect metaphors there. You think about insects, you think like a hive.
What is wrong with you? Is the table going to start rising?
Look, we're only at 78. Wait until we get lower in the countdown. It's really I'm really gonna explode. We lose the race to rats. There's a rat metaphor too.
Yeah.
But you think about like people's like insects and rats. And there are millions and billions of them, and they're all sprawling and crawling all over everywhere. And where are you going to fit in? You're just like the ants. Conform. There's some queen that's telling you everything to do. Mm-hmm. Yes. And then you have to spend your time in the arcade playing Tempest, which was in the music video, which
that sounds great.
The single cover for this album looked like, or not for the song, not the album, looks like an image of a video game. And I think that probably did come from the video at the end, when he's playing Tempest. And I thought that was kind of a nice touch.
Sorry.
Back to the lyrics.
Yes.
Because I don't want to go on too long about the whole arcade video game not subculture, it was mainstream culture back there. Part of the suburban life. But it was an escape from the oppression. Songs I prefer, they're more the hit songs like this, because those songs are more melodic. Mm-hmm. And too often their songs aren't melodic. It sounds like what they're doing is they have this churning sound, and the guitar playing is great, the bass is played, the drumming's great, and they're not really jamming. Maybe they're doing some jazzy, but they're not really improvising. I think it's all well planned out, but still, they're just all showing off their stuff, and then you kind of slap these great lyrics on them, but it doesn't seem like the lyrics and the songs really merge together. I think probably my second favorite song off of this album, which is the 1982 album Signals, is New World Man, which is, as much as they plan and practice and rehearse their songs, as much work that goes into writing them. New World Man was actually written and recorded the same day. And are you familiar with that song, New World Man? It was the biggest hit of the 80s.
Probably just because Tommy and my brother, I'm listening to them obsessively. It seems like to me, he'll probably disagree if he hears this, but that's probably heard it.
New World Man is like one of the most simple songs, but I like it, and because it is kind of catchy and poppy, and it was one of their biggest hits. And so I guess that shows the dichotomy of this is serious music for hardcore rock fans and aficionados, and a lot of metalheads like Rush as well. But maybe, we all prefer the pop. But granted, with that being said, the first time I was exposed to the song, I saw the end of the video on VH1. They were doing some kind of classic 80s rewind, and I saw the arcade images of the boy playing Tempest in the arcade kind of caught my eye, and I thought, like, man, this sounds great. The chords that are being used reminds me of probably my favorite band, Genesis, and I thought, there's another band out there that sounds like Genesis. Who are they? And it's like, oh, it's Rush. I was a little conflicted because I always thought of Rush as kind of like maybe more of a metal band, and I didn't like metal at the time. I remember when my first exposure to Rush was the song "Roll the Bones," which was back in the early '90s. Well, it had a rapping skeleton. Here's another Six Flags story. Was at Six Flags Great America, and I was with my father, and he saw a boy wearing a shirt. It said "Rush, Roll the Bones," and it had like the skeleton kid kicking a skull, or a kid with a skull face kicking a skull down the road.
Yeah.
And my father said, "Why do kids wear these shirts? Don't they know it's evil?" I thought, yeah, that must be a bad band, bad.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
really?
I've grown up since then.
I think it was common back then for parents to say that to their kids. Because heavy metal and rock and roll was evil, in the generation that they grew up in, I think. I'm not really a big fan of Subdivisions. I can see the appeal, having like a young family wanting to live in a subdivision type setting. I prefer unique homes in a unique setting. But, now that we actually live in one, I can see the appeal because it's a great place to push a stroller. There's not much traffic. And I sound like such a mom, I know, but there's not much traffic, and you can like rollerblade and ride your bike and stuff, and you don't have to worry.
That's true. They're kind of drab and boring in their geometric patterns as geometric order, an insulated border between the bright lights and the fair unlit unknown.
No, I hate the houses though, because it really looks like somebody had about 3 different cookie cutters. And that's how we fit it in right there.
I was waiting for that.
It does. It looks like somebody had just 3 different cutters, and they said, okay, we're going to have 30 houses that look like this, 20 houses that look like this, and 10 that look like this. And we're just going to place them sporadically around. I don't like that. I think it's kind of tacky.
Yeah, I think artistically it's boring, but they're popular for a reason. People live there for a reason, so
because they're convenient.
Okay, enough of the societal economical talk here. Let's talk about sex appeal. Typically when we talk about sex appeal, which is an issue that matters to you a lot.
What?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
That's because judging by most of the 80s videos we watch.
Don't make me sound like some vain person that all I care about is what people look like, because that's not true.
But still, it's worth making comment about. I think Geddy Lee, he looks like an old lady, and he kind of sounds like an old lady too. So, are you attracted to old ladies?
It depends.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being John Cougar and 10 being Ralph Hooter.
Oh, God, there's just no comparison.
Where would Geddy Lee fall?
Well, God, he's
1.5?
no Ralph Hooter. Okay, yeah. I talk a lot about attractive people. I don't think Geddy Lee's very attractive. I don't think we should feel sorry for him, though, because I'm sure he's gotten the ladies. A lot of musicians, you can tell, kind of became famous because of their looks, and there are far too many musicians like that today, I believe. And I hate to say this, but I think New Kids on the Block is an example of that. As much as I like them and still like them, huh?
Okay, go ahead. I'm not going to make you snide New Kids.
No, it's okay. Hey, you love the song tonight, and don't even try to argue.
No, I'm going to edit.
No, but I think that the fact that they became so famous, it's not to say that they're ugly. Everybody has their own opinion about that, but clearly they did not become famous because of their looks. They became famous because they're truly talented, and I think that speaks volumes, especially as big a following as they have, and they're still famous. I think it's amazing. I think it's great.
Going back to the 80s, or 70s, actually, I think Rush became... The 70s was an era when your appearance didn't really matter as much, or so they say, before music videos.
Yeah, like Janis Joplin type.
There was a lot of hairy rocker guys. You look at the album covers, and they're beautiful artwork on the album covers, but often you wouldn't see the band.
Yeah, that's true.
There were like Bay City Rollers and Bobby Sherman and Teeny Bopper outfits as well.
But how many of those bands continued on is my point, though.
Right.
And Rush just kept going, and they're still going. And
because I think their following has grown and grown and grown and grown.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not grown, but it's maintained quite a bit. Maybe they've even had a resurgence. They still, I can't remember when their last tour is, but they came out with an album a couple years ago, or 3 or 4 years ago, and they went on tour again, and so they packed the arenas, and so good for them.
Yeah, that's amazing. We should delve into some more Rush. We
All
really
you have to
should.
do, you can just turn on classic rock station, and then they'll help you. They'll delve into Rush for you.
You're right.
So All right,
But
so
there's no reason to rush.
okay. All right.
Pun.
Yes, I got that.
I'm so punny.
All right, that's why I have you as a co-host. That's the only reason.
Because I'm lame.
I'm DJCK1.
I'm AK47.
Yes, and tune in next time where we're going to get to hear what number 77 is. We're counting down the top 80 songs, the best 80 songs of the 1980s.
Now we're going to go eat some cookies.
Ah! There you go. I do feel like some cookies right now.
Yes.
Pre-bedtime snack.
Thanks for listening to the 80 of the 80s podcast. Questions? Comments? Email us at 80ofthe80s. That's 80ofthe80s@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook or subscribe to our YouTube channel. That name again, 80 of the 80s. Until the next song, this is AK47 thanking you for your power play.